Folks, we're going to get savage. Stick around. Hey, folks. Old Man Grognard here. And today we're going to do something. We're going to get out of the dungeon for a while and review one of my favorite other type games, Savage Worlds. This is Savage Worlds Deluxe. This is the Explorer's Edition. And this was written by Shane Lacey Hensley, illustrated by Cheyenne Wright, with a whole bunch of contributors. And let me tell you a little bit about it. It was first released in '03. He got it out of a game called The Great Rail Wars, which was a derivative of the game Deadlands, which his company Pinnacle Games was known for. So it basically came out of Deadlands. The PDF came out in '04. The print version came out in '05. The first Explorer's Edition came out in 2007. Won all sorts of awards. Deluxe came out in 2011, and this Explorer's Edition came out in 2012. Now, this is the edition you want to get because it's got all the errata and everything in it, and it's the current one. So, go on. What's the game about? Well, it's basically a universal or generic system like Hero, GURPS, things like that. But if you want something to play fast, you get this game. This feels more like an action movie than anything else. And you can use, any number of genres with it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The gameplay is really, I find it a lot of fun. First of all, initiative. You use playing cards. You go from ace to deuce, yeah. And with jokers in the deck, and what happens if somebody gets a joker, a whole lot of things can happen. The guy can move anytime he wants. He gets a +2 on everything. But once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. The gameplay, you have stats, but it's more of a dice pool stat because your things like strength, your dex, your intelligence and stuff is measured in dice from D4 to D12. There are no D20s in this game. And you basically roll your dice over a certain target amount, which, like in combat, it would be the opponent's parry. If you want to do damage, if you hit and do damage, you go against their toughness. And it's got a lot of skills in it that really work. Here's the look on one of the pages here. These are archetype characters that it's basically pre-written characters that people can use. I've seen people do it before. Well, I want to play this kind of character. I'll just take this and tweak it a little, because you do get points to tweak it during character creation. And here's what the equipment list looks like. Most of the equipment, like the muscle power variety, swords, axes, things like that, usually has your strength die plus another die, like say a dagger. If you're going to thrust it, it's a strength plus D4, things like that. And you go against someone's toughness. Armor adds to someone's toughness. They've got rules for melee. They've got rules for ranged. Range goes versus your dex, I believe. And it's just a whole lot of fun, and it goes fast. It really does. You hand out the cards. Hey, it's King, Queen, Jack. You just go like that. And you also have something called bennies. Anybody who knows anything about hero points or things like that, you know about bennies. Bennies are, benefits. And every character starts with 3 of them in a normal game. They can use it at any time to do things like, I didn't make that roll. Well, here's a Benny. Let me re-roll it. I didn't make it over the chasm. I'm gonna pay a Benny, and I made it, or something like that. And they can change. You can use it to change the plot to a certain extent too, and things like things that they also have what they call an action deck, action cards. These are totally optional. The cards that have things like, look, the cavalry arrived. I got a break. I found something in my pocket I can use. Things like that. It's just fun stuff for the players to use. And it just goes, like I said, fast, furious, fun. That's their motto. And as far as settings go, you can make your own, no problem. They've got like handbooks, like companion books. They got fantasy companion, horror companion, supers companion, and sci-fi companion. Yes, there's powers in there. Powers is the catch-all name, and it's a PowerPoint system. It's a catch-all name for anything out of the ordinary. Superpowers, mage's spells, gadgets, like gadgeteers, gadgets, psionics, clerical spells, you name it, that's in the power section. The superpowers companion kind of expands on that, so you can really do like champion style or, champion style or V&V type play. And as far as settings goes, they got a ton of settings. The first one they put out, well, my favorite is 50 Fathoms. It's pirates. It's a fantasy world with pirates. Think of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies mixed with the Pirates of Dark Water. That kind of thing. Another one, my friend Andy Hopp, hi Andy, put out Lowlife. I have a hard time describing this one, but it comes off as like a parody of fantasy adventure games. Using creatures, I mean, about like, take Gamma World and advance it, say, 3 millennia, where you actually have just stuff like Twinkies and bugs and other things that have sentience, and they go on their own little adventures, which, I don't know, really, really, and I hear it's a lot of fun. I'm dying to play it. Also, Deadlands, whence it sprung from. Deadlands got a remake called Deadlands Reloaded. You can use with Savage Worlds. They also have like Deadlands Hell on Earth, which is a post-apocalyptic version. My favorite, Deadlands Noir. Same place in the 40s with all that other stuff. Here's what else we have here. Oh, Slipstream. It's a sci-fi game, but it's sci-fi of the Buck Rogers variety, of the Flash Gordon variety, where you have rocket ships, you don't have spaceships. You have blasters, you have ray guns, you have, planets full of hats, planet of hats, like, Hawkman and Mudman and things like that. And you have a bad guy who's somewhat like Ming the Merciless, I guess. One genre really does well is pulp. And there's a lot of pulp books out. This is my favorite, called Thrilling Tales. This is not so much a setting as it is how to run a pulp. It's a source book more along the lines, and it gives you, bad guy stats. It gives you what the cars were back then, what the archetypes you can play, things like that. So it's got written up, from the 30s and the 40s. It's got things written up like thuggees, Mandarins from the Far East, Nazis. You can really get your Indiana Jones going on with this one. And it's just a whole lot of fun. They've also got some licensed worlds too. Lankmar. You want to do Fafhrd and the Grey Monster? They got Lankmar for Savage Worlds. They got Freeport, which was ported over. Solomon Kane. So if you want to play Robert E. Howard's in that world, you can do that. They just got Riffs, which everybody goes, what? And they're just churning them out. It's incredible. There's such support for this game too. You go online, you'll find a lot of fan conversions. For a little while, we were playing a fan conversion of Ghostbusters. One guy did Eberron. What a fit. There's at least 12 Star Wars adaptions, and on and on and on. There's some Conan stuff, you name it, it's out there somewhere, because it just got people convert, because it's such a versatile system. Even with things like edges and hindrances, which gives you like kind of an edge on something, or if you want a disadvantage, you can do that too. It works, and it works fast. But like I said, it's by Pinnacle Entertainment. Actually, it's Great White doing business as Pinnacle Entertainment. But if you look on their Pinnacle site, and another, the best part about this, see this book? $9.99. Yeah, right. I got this at half price books for $3 because I had a coupon. Because they were selling it for $5. But if you go to a game store, $9.99 right there, you got a game. You could just take this and use it. You know, make up your own stuff. So go out and get that. It's a good buy. So, review of Savage Worlds. And I'm sure I forgot a few things. You probably tell me about it at oldmangrognard@gmail.com. And until next time, bye-bye.